Her legs don't need fixing. Her heart does. When a billionaire's daughter heard these words from a humble janitor, her life shattered and then began. What happened next will redefine what it means to be broken. Before we dive into this powerful story, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss life-changing tales like this. Now, let's begin. The fall. The studio mirrors at Windsor Academy reflected perfection. Polished floors, pristine bars, and the effortless grace of Lillian Vandermeer, Lily to those who dared claim familiarity, as she moved through her final rehearsal. The annual gala was tomorrow, and her father, the illustrious Charles Vandermeer, would be in the front row, watching. As always, Lily exhaled sharply, adjusting her ponytail. Every step had to be flawless. Every turn, every extension impeccable. The Vandermeers didn't settle for less. Then, without warning, her right leg buckled. A sharp, electric pain shot through her knee, and suddenly, the world tilted. The mirrors caught her stumble, her arms flailing, the way her body crumpled like a marionette with cut strings. She hit the floor hard, gasping. Silence. Then whispers. Did she just... I heard she's been pushing too hard. Vandermeers don't fall. Lily clenched her teeth, forcing herself upright. Her knee throbbed, but she ignored it. She had to keep going. She had to, but when she tried to rise, her leg refused to cooperate. 3 doctors later, the diagnosis was clear: early onset degenerative myopathy, a slow, inevitable erosion of muscle control. Dancing professionally won't be possible, the specialist said, voice clipped. But with the right treatments, we can manage the symptoms. Lily sat frozen in the 2-white examination room, her father's presence looming behind her like a storm cloud. Manage, Charles repeated, his voice dangerously calm. You're telling me my daughter, a Vandermeer, needs to be managed? The doctor hesitated. With all due respect, Mr. Vandermeer, this condition is progressive. We can't reverse it, but we can... Find someone who can, Charles interrupted, already pulling out his phone. I'll assemble a team. Top specialists. Experimental treatments. Whatever it takes. Lily stared at her hands. She'd spent her entire life chasing perfection. Straight A student, champion equestrian, prima ballerina. And now, her body had betrayed her. The next week was a blur of tests, consultations, and hushed arguments between her father and the medical team. Lily moved through it all like a ghost, her mind replaying the moment her leg gave out. The shame of it, the weakness. Then one evening, as she sat alone in the academy's empty studio, her crutches leaning against the bar, she heard the shuffling footsteps of the night janitor. Marcus Boone was a quiet man, mid-50s, with a face that had seen too much and eyes that noticed even more. He didn't speak to her, just went about his work, mopping the floors with the same steady rhythm he always did, until he paused. You're here late, he said, not unkindly. Lily didn't look up. I don't need an audience for my failure. Marcus studied her for a long moment. Then, softly, he said, her legs don't need fixing. Her heart does. Lily's head snapped up. Excuse me? He didn't flinch. You heard me. For the first time in weeks, anger flared in her chest. You have no idea what I'm going through. Maybe not, Marcus said, leaning on his mop. But I know what it looks like when someone's so busy trying to be perfect, they forget how to be human. Lily opened her mouth to fire back, but nothing came out. Marcus sighed. You're not grieving the dance, kid. You're grieving the girl you thought you had to be. And with that, he walked away, leaving Lily alone with the echo of his words. That night, she dreamt of falling. Not the kind of fall that ended with impact, but one that never stopped. An endless, weightless plunge. When she woke, her sheets were damp with sweat, her chest tight. She reached for her phone, thumb hovering over her father's contact. He'd have another specialist lined up by now. Another solution. Another fix. But for the first time, she hesitated. What if Marcus was right? What if the thing that needed healing wasn't her legs at all? The crack in the mask. Lily didn't sleep. Marcus's words played on a loop in her mind, sharp and unrelenting. You're grieving the girl you thought you had to be. What did that even mean? She was that girl. Lillian Vandermeer. Perfect student, perfect dancer, perfect air. There was no version of her that existed outside of those expectations. Yet, as dawn crept through her bedroom curtains, she found herself dressing quietly, slipping out before the household staff could notice. She needed air, space, something beyond the suffocating walls of her father's estate. Her crutches clicked against the pavement as she made her way to the one place she knew would be empty this early, the academy. But when she pushed open the studio door, the lights were already on. Marcus stood near the far wall, wiping down the mirrors with slow, deliberate strokes. He didn't turn around, but his reflection met hers in the glass. "Couldn't stay away?" he asked. Lily stiffened. "It's my studio." "Was," Marcus corrected gently, "till you decided it wasn't." She wanted to argue, but the words died in her throat, because he was right. This wasn't hers anymore, not the way it had been. Silence stretched between them. Then, surprising even herself, Lily spoke. "How did you know?" Marcus paused, considering her. "Know what?" "That I was—" She gestured helplessly at her leg, at the crutches. "That it wasn't just about the dancing." He set down his rag, leaning against the bar. "Because I've seen it before. People so wrapped up in what they think they're supposed to be, they forget who they actually are." Lily scoffed. "That's not me?" "Isn't it?" Marcus tilted his head. "Then tell me, who's Lillian when she's not performing?" The question hit like a physical blow. Who was she outside of the stages, the accolades, the relentless pursuit of excellence? She didn't have an answer. Marcus didn't press. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, worn harmonica. "You play?" Lily asked, thrown. "Badly," he admitted with a chuckle. "But it's honest." He lifted it to his lips and played a few rough, off-key notes. The sound was nothing like the polished concertos Lily was used to. It was raw, imperfect, alive, against her will. A laugh bubbled up in her chest. "That's terrible." Marcus grinned. "Told you." He held out the harmonica. "Your turn." "I don't." "Exactly," he interrupted. "You don't. And that's the point." Hesitantly, Lily took it. The metal was warm from his hands. She blew into it, producing a squeak that made them both wince. Marcus didn't laugh at her, just nodded. "Again." She tried, and failed, and tried again. And for the first time in years, she did something without worrying about being perfect. She didn't realize how much time had passed until her phone buzzed. A message from her father's assistant. "Your 9 a.m. consultation with Dr. Lefebvre has been confirmed. Car will arrive at 8:30. Lily's stomach twisted. Another appointment. Another expert promising solutions they couldn't deliver. Marcus must have seen the shift in her expression. "You don't have to go," he said quietly. "Yes, I do." The words came out automatic, rehearsed. "My father isn't the one living in your body," Marcus finished. Lily stared at him. No one talked to her like that. No one dared. But instead of anger, she felt something else, something terrifyingly close to relief. "Come with me," Marcus said suddenly, grabbing his jacket. "Where?" "Somewhere you can breathe." 20 minutes later, they stood outside a squat brick building with a faded sign, Harper Community Center. The paint was chipped, the windows smudged, but the sound of laughter spilled out onto the street. Lily hesitated. "What is this?" "A place where people don't care about last names," Marcus said, holding the door open. Inside, the air smelled like crayons and coffee. A group of teenagers sat in a loose circle, some in wheelchairs, others with braces or prosthetics. At the center, a girl with fiery red hair was leading what looked like a very off-key rendition of "Lean on Me." No one glanced at Lily's crutches. No one whispered. "Marcus," the redhead called, spotting them. "You're late, and you brought a stray." "This is Lily," Marcus said, nudging her forward. "Be nice, Jessa." Jessa grinned, tossing Lily a tambourine. "Then she can earn her keep. Rhythm's in the hands, not the feet." Lily's fingers closed around the instrument. She should leave. This wasn't her world. But then Jessa started singing again, loud and unapologetically off-pitch, and the others joined in, banging drums, shaking maracas, living. And before she could stop herself, Lily raised a tambourine and joined them. She didn't notice the black SUV parked outside, didn't see the figure watching through the window, but Marcus did. As the song ended, he caught Lily's eye and nodded toward the door. Her father's head of security stood there, face unreadable. "Lillian, the man called. Your father sent me to bring you home." The room went quiet. Lily's hands trembled around the tambourine. This was it, the moment she'd have to choose. Then Jessa grabbed her wrist. "You don't have to go," she whispered fiercely. The others closed ranks around her, a silent wall of defiance. Marcus stepped forward. "Run now or fight." Lily's breath caught. For the first time in her life, the path ahead wasn't clear, and that terrified her. The rebellion, the air in the community center thickened with tension. Lily's fingers dug into the tambourine, its jingle now silent. The security agent, Henderson, a man who'd driven her to ballet rehearsals since she was 12, stood rigid in the doorway, his expression unreadable. "Lillian," he repeated, firmer this time, "your father is waiting." Jess's grip on her wrist tightened. Around them, the other kids exchanged glances, their earlier laughter replaced by wary silence. Marcus didn't move, but his gaze locked onto Lily's, steady and challenging. "Run now or fight." Her pulse roared in her ears. Every instinct screamed to obey, to fall back into familiar rhythm of compliance. But something else stirred beneath the fear, something raw and defiant. Lily took a shaky breath. "Tell my father I'm not done here." Henderson's jaw twitched. He won't like that answer. "I know." The words tasted strange, like a language she'd never spoken before. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Henderson sighed, pulling out his phone. "I'll give you 5 minutes." He stepped outside, already dialing. The room exhaled. "Holy shit," Jessa whispered, grinning. "You actually said no?" Lily's legs trembled, but it wasn't from the myopathy this time. It was the adrenaline of a line crossed, a boundary shattered. Marcus nodded, approving. First time's the hardest. The reprieve didn't last. Within minutes, Henderson returned, his phone extended toward Lily. "He wants to speak to you." The screen displayed her father's contact photo, a corporate headshot, all sharp angles and ice blue eyes. Lily's thumb hovered over the accept button. "You don't have to," Marcus mouthed. But she did, if only to prove to herself she could face him. She took the phone. "Father." "Lillian." Charles Vandermeer's voice was lethally calm. "Explain this childish behavior." The old habit of deference clawed at her throat. You needed to attend your medical consultation," he interrupted, "not waste time with charity cases." The word struck like a slap. Around her, the kids stiffened. Jessa's face darkened. Lily's grip on the phone tightened. "They're not charity cases." "Semantics," Charles dismissed. "Henderson will bring you home. We'll discuss your priorities there." A month ago, that tone would have sent her scrambling to obey. But now, no. Silence. Then colder, "What did you say?" "I said no." Her voice didn't shake. "I'm staying, and I'm canceling the consultation." Another pause. When her father spoke again, each word was a shard of glass. "You will come home. Now, or you will no longer consider that house your home." A gasp rippled through the room. Even Henderson looked uneasy. Lily closed her eyes. This was the ultimatum she'd always feared. But when she opened them, she found Marcus watching her, his gaze steady. Jessa's hand found hers. The tambourine still dangled from her other hand, its metal discs catching the light. She took a breath. "Then I guess I'm not coming home." The line went dead. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then Jessa hooped, clapping Lily on the back. "Damn, rich girl, you got spine after all." The others erupted into cheers, but Lily barely heard them. The reality of what she'd just done crashed over her. No home, no safety net, no father. Marcus seemed to read her thoughts. "You okay?" "I don't know," she admitted. "Good," he said simply. Means you're thinking for yourself. Henderson cleared his throat. Lillian, your things? Right. Her clothes, her credit cards, her entire life. All locked away in the Vandermeer penthouse. Jessa snorted. What? You think she's going to walk back in there now? She sized Lily up. You're what? A size 4? I've got spare jeans. One by one, the others chimed in. I've got extra toothbrushes. My mom cooks enough for an army. You can crash on our couch. Lily stared at them. This ragtag group who'd known her for an hour and yet offered more than her father ever had. Her vision blurred. Marcus handed her a napkin. Welcome to the real world, kid. It's messy, but it's yours. That night, curled on Jessa's lumpy couch under a borrowed blanket, Lily stared at the cracks in the ceiling. Her phone buzzed incessantly. Calls from her father's office, frantic texts from her assistant, a dozen misconnections. She silenced it. Down the hall, Jessa's little brother laughed at some late-night cartoon. The fridge hummed. A dog barked outside. Normal sounds. Human sounds. For the first time in her life, Lily Vandermeer was free, and it terrified her. The unbroken rhythm. The morning light filtering through Jessa's thin curtains felt different, raw and unfiltered, like the world had been scrubbed clean overnight. Lily blinked against it, her body aching from the unfamiliar couch. For a disorienting moment, she forgot where she was. Then the smell of burnt toast hit her, followed by Jessa's voice yelling, Lucas, I swear to God, if you eat the last Pop-Tart. Home. No, not home, but something closer to it than she'd ever known. Lily sat up, wincing as her stiff knee protested. Her phone lay silent on the coffee table where she'd left it, the screen dark. No calls. No messages. Just nothing. She should have felt relieved. Instead, the emptiness yawned inside her. Morning, Sleeping Beauty. Jessa leaned in the doorway, a chipped mug in hand. You look like hell. Lily ran a hand through her tangled hair. Feel like it. Coffee'll help. Jessa tossed her a sweatshirt. Get dressed. Marcus texted. He wants us at the center by 10. The Harper Community Center hummed with activity when they arrived. Kids wheeled between tables, their laughter bouncing off the walls as they helped set up for the day's art program. Marcus stood at the far end of the room, wrestling with a stack of folding chairs. You're late, he grunted as they approached. Her Highness takes forever to shower, Jessa said, jerking a thumb at Lily. Marcus smirked. Better showers have more water pressure than yours. Lily flushed, suddenly hyper-aware of her borrowed clothes, the second-hand sneakers Jessa had dug up for her. I can help with those, she said, reaching for the chairs. Marcus studied her for a beat before nodding. Chair assembly, the great equalizer. For the next hour, Lily lost herself in the mindless work, unfolding metal legs, tightening bolts, lining up rows. No one treated her like she was fragile. No one whispered about her limp. It was freeing until the front door burst open. Charles Vandermeer stood framed in the doorway, his tailored overcoat stark against the center's peeling paint. The room fell silent. Lily's hands froze on the chair she was holding. Lillian. Her father's voice cut through the quiet. We're leaving. Her pulse pounded in her throat. Every instinct screamed to obey. But then Jessa stepped beside her, shoulder brushing hers. Marcus moved to her other side. She wasn't alone. I'm staying, Lily said, louder this time. Charles's eyes flicked over the room. The mismatched chairs, the scuffed floors, the kids watching with wide eyes. His lip curled. This is beneath you. No, Lily said softly. It's real. A muscle jumped in her father's jaw. If you walk away now, there's no coming back. No trust fund. No inheritance. Nothing. The word should have terrified her. But all she felt was a strange, buoyant lightness. I don't want your money, she said. I never did. For the first time in her life, Charles Vandermeer looked uncertain. The standoff might have lasted minutes or hours. Lily couldn't tell. Then, slowly, her father reached into his breast pocket and withdrew a folded check. For your charity, he said stiffly, setting it on the nearest table. Marcus picked it up, whistled. That's a lot of zeros. It's conditional, Charles said, his gaze never leaving Lily. She comes home. The room held its breath. Lily looked at the check, at her father's stony face, at Jess's white-knuckled grip on her wheelchair. Then she stepped forward, not toward her father, but to the beat-up piano in the corner. Her fingers found the keys. The first notes of Claire de Lune floated through the room, imperfect but alive. When she finished, the silence was different, softer. Her father's expression had changed. Something unreadable flickered in his eyes. "When did you learn to play?" he asked. "I didn't," Lily admitted. "I just felt it." Charles stared at her, really stared, as if seeing her for the first time. Then, without another word, he turned and walked out. The check stayed. So did Lily. That night, as the center's new adaptive dance program kicked off, Lily at the helm, Jessa heckling from the front row, Marcus manning the ancient sound system, something remarkable happened. A girl in leg braces took the floor, then a boy with cerebral palsy, then others moving however their bodies allowed, laughter ringing off the walls. No mirrors, no judges, just joy. And as Lily joined them, her Crutix abandoned at the edge of the room. She realized Marcus had been right all along. The rhythm wasn't in her feet. It was in her pulse. 6 months later, the Van der Meer Adaptive Arts Foundation opened its doors, its lobby dominated by 2 framed items. A photograph of that first chaotic dance class. An avoided check, its amount crossed out with a single word scrawled over it. Enough.